Hello and welcome to Unpacked. Everyone has been clamoring about 4K and all its pros and cons. Most pros are about the image quality you get from a 4K resolution. Most cons are obviously about price. ASUS has the solution, the PB287Q. Yes, the PB287Q. If you can't tell from the model number already, it's their 28-inch offering. It features LED backlighting, a 1 millisecond response time, 60 Hz refresh rate, and of course a resolution of 3840 by 2160. Included in the box itself is the monitor itself, an HDMI cable, a DisplayPort cable, a 3.5mm audio cable, power cable, some documentation, and this plastic thing for cable organization, which I have never seen anyone ever use. Taking a closer look at the monitor, there is a height adjustable stand. So you can do all this. You can swivel, you can lower it, raise it, tilt it both ways, and my personal favorite, 90-degree vertical screen rotation. So if you are working on a longer Word document, there's less scrolling for you to do when you have it in a vertical screen orientation. This also makes it easier when you want to reattach some cables or plug them in when you're setting up for the first time. Speaking of plugging things in for the first time, let's take a look at the inputs. First off, you'll notice at the back there is this neat little cover that pops off, so it hides the cables a little bit better, making everything look cooler. And first off, let's start from the bottom. We have the power cable input. We have two HDMI cable ports, one being MHL capable. So if you do have an MHL capable device, like say the Sony Z2, you can also share your phone's content at a much larger scale, although it won't be at 4K. You also have a DisplayPort, an audio pass-through jack for the built-in speakers on the ASUS PB287Q, and finally a headphone port for headphone pass-through. Also on the back, you'll actually find all the buttons and setup buttons that you'll need to navigate through the menus of the PB287Q. Now, me and NCIXAce Anthony were talking, and we were both kind of confused as why ASUS would put the buttons on the back. At first, I didn't notice how annoying they were until Anthony told me to start selecting different inputs between DisplayPort and MHL when we were testing MHL content. So, yeah. That's probably the only downside we would say about the PB287Q is that the buttons for the menu selection and the power are on the back. Now, some of you are thinking, well, that's all fine and dandy, Jack. You can spiel off a list of things that the monitor has and what it features. Yeah, I know. But that's why we're going to be doing a comparison with the Samsung 4K monitor, the U28D590D. Thank you. So, we'll be right back. We're just going to set up the two monitors and do a live comparison. And we're back. We were having some technical difficulties with one of the DisplayPort cables, but that's a topic for a different day. So both monitors, the Samsung on my left and the ASUS on my right, they both have a matte finish on their screens. So if you're sitting in a bright room, you're not going to get much glare. They both have a 1 millisecond response time. They both are LED backlit, and they are both running at 60 Hz on DisplayPort cable. So that wraps it up for this episode. The PB287Q is roughly $750 at the time of filming right now. Compared to the Samsung at $599, it's about $150 difference. But I think anyone looking at the ASUS is definitely getting a better deal. For starters, the height adjustable stand with its ability to pivot, swivel, and rotate, and obviously being height adjustable, it's definitely worth $150 to me over the Samsung where you can just tilt. Plus, if you don't actually like the stand on the ASUS, you can always just buy a VESA compatible one, whereas the Samsung doesn't have the VESA mounts, which they may have just been overlooked at. And if you think that 28 inches is just not big enough for you, ASUS has also just announced their 32-inch 4K monitor, the PA328Q. It's a 10-bit panel with sRGB 100% color accuracy. And that actually gave NCIXAce Anthony a new Christmas wish list to give to Santa Claus. So let us know down below, guys, would you want a multiple 4K setup or even just one 4K monitor right now? Leave a comment down below. Like the video if you feel like it, share with your friends, and subscribe if you're new. We'll see you later. It's my turn. Get off. I want to play. I want to play.